I mean, he didn't make it easy for anybody to like us. Conservatives didn't stand for him. Democrats didn't like him. He was a recovering fucking alcoholic. Or he's a recovered one, but he's a recovering one. I mean, come on now. He was the president of the United States. I highly doubt he was fucking sober that whole 8 years. Didn't he smoke weed and Harold and Kumar going to White Castle or some shit? Yeah. It's nuts, man. And then just going on to somebody else, man. So this is a completely different topic, but it's definitely, I think it's news, man. So J.K. Rowling came out and defended biological women and got tons of fucking backlash. Got called the TERF, which would be a trans exclusionist radical feminist. Fucking mouthful. Try to say that shit 5 times fast. I can't even do it. Okay, so this Devix, a news source, dropped an opinion piece on creating a more equal post-COVID world for people and people who menstruate. And J.K. Rowling said, "People who menstruate, I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Wumbin, Wimpond, Wumund. Obviously, she means woman. Clearly, only biological women can menstruate. I mean, I guess a trans man can too, if they didn't have the surgery yet. Because I'm assuming when they have the surgery, they make it so you can't have your period, because men don't have their period. But yeah, that's another topic. But after she was being called an anti-trans, transphobic, said it was hurting people, transgender people and non-binary people and non-gender conforming people can also menstruate. People were saying basically biological women, because not if you see you're non-binary, but we're born a biological woman, you're a biological woman, so you can menstruate. It's just, I'm not going to get into it. It's just the whole thing. Rowlings followed up by, saying somebody's biological state isn't real. Somebody's biological sense isn't real. And this is what she goes. J.K. Rowling, this is the actual tweet. If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of a woman globally is erased. I know and I love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives that isn't hate speech, to speak the truth. Then she goes on. The idea that women like me, who've been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship because they're vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e., so basically an example for you that you don't know what i.e. means, to male violence, hate trans people because they think sex is real and has lived consequences is nonsense. That's what she wrote. So, and then she also said she said she respects trans and want them to live comfortably, and she even says she's got friends that are trans people, and then they still end up calling her a TERF. It's fucked up, I think. But she even said she'll respect you, but she expects it. She expects it back in return. Her life has been shaped by her being a female, by her being a woman. That's how her life has been shaped. The group GLAAD spoke out against her, basically saying that J.K. Rowling continues to align herself with an ideology which willfully distorts the fact about a gender identity and people who are trans. In 2020, there is no excuse for targeting trans people. And I'm not really going to get into that whole thing. I stand by what J.K. Rowling said. I feel be who you are, be whoever you want to be. I don't really care, but you can't let that shit affect other people. Live your life and love yourself, but you can't make other people love or respect you. Doesn't matter what you want. Doesn't matter what you view yourself as. You cannot get that. You cannot make someone like you. You cannot make someone do shit. At all. You can put laws in place, you can do this, that, other thing, but that doesn't mean they're going to follow them. That doesn't mean they have to listen to them. People break the law every day. They obviously aren't listening. That's the layman's terms of it. And then Republicans have been flooding AOC, one of AOC's candidates, Michelle Cabrera, with with funds, with campaign donations and shit. AOC also has 6 other competitors, and I'm sure people are just funneling them money too. AOC is not going to win re-election. I think she's really pissed off a lot of people in her district, outside of her district, all over. And I think instead of being a congressperson, she wanted to be a celebrity. And I think that's coming back to bite her in her ass. That's really what I think. I know a person, Tim Pool said a person from St. Paul has donated to Michelle Caruso Cabrera, and that's obviously not in her district. So, like, a lot of people get upset when people from out of state donate. Myself personally, if that person reads your message and they want you to win, I don't generally know why they would send you money, because they're not in your district. So even if they do like your policy, it's not going to help them. But I mean, I don't really have a fucking care in the world really for it. Now, if it is only outside sources making sure you get money, then that's fucked up. But if you're able to pull in money from all around, even in your district, and I would say all around, like, your district, not all around the world, but mainly your district, if you can pull in a large sum of your money from your district, I don't think it matters. But if most of your money comes from outside of the district, then yes, it fucking matters. Seriously, it fucking matters. Because if that people in your community are not funding your campaign because your message, obviously people don't like it, and someone else outside the community is funding it because they like it, that's fucked up. So it's a double-edged sword. But I think we live in a world of double-edged swords at the moment. And one of the last things I'm going to end on, man, because I wrote a lot about it. Let's be honest. It's going to be Antifa. Just spit that out there now and get that on and pop-a-lopping. You know what I'm saying? So, The Hill reported that Antifa and anarchists hijacked the George Floyd protests. And like I had spoken a previous podcast, I had seen a lot of Antifa members down there. There was Antifa medics down there doing their thing, and I already spoke on that, so I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to leave that there. But they were down there, and I'm not going to say anarchists really were down there, because I mean, I know anarchists want to see the world burn, but I don't generally see they want to see it burn like that, in my opinion. But Antifa was down there, and Antifa was in numbers, and they had their shit going on. There was protesters reveling in the destruction, and I would believe that that's anarchist and that's Antifa that was happy if certain things burned. Like I said, I've seen capitalists fuck capitalism down there on more than one wall, and all I thought is, what does that really have to do with George Floyd? Nothing. So obviously Antifa's down there running their fucking gamut, and I mean they're definitely trying to deny being a group. It's definitely I don't know. I definitely think the fact that they're denying being a group is kind of hilarious, because you can clearly tell that they're a group and that they run in numbers. I mean, they have their own little fucking signs and code words and this, that, the other. Definitely think that shit's hilarious. I know that, like I said, they hijacked the thing. Tim Pool made a really good point that they also, like, hijack protests. Like, they'll jump in the protest and make the protest go one way versus another way. Like, he used Occupy Wall Street, where they were supposed to be going to the NYPD, the First Precinct Plaza or whatever it was, and they ended up going down to Wall Street. I mean, it's one example, but I definitely think I think even what happened in Detroit, that an Antifa leader fucking led 2 people that were in Michigan to get arrested. You know, it's and he was saying why they do it is they want people to get arrested so that they can they can radicalize you. So you have to go through the process of being arrested. That's one of the reasons they do it, and that shit makes sense. Get you arrested, get you all riled up, get you to hate the system. Yeah, it makes sense. So hearing that shit, I'm like, damn. Well, shit. Project Veritas went and did it again. They infiltrated Antifa. Oh, I bet Antifa got their panties in a bunch. I know they got their panties in a bunch. Let's be 100 with that shit. We know they got their panties in a bunch. Project Veritas reported that New York Antifa members were training for violence. So, and this is their instructor, Chris. We just kind of wanted to, in this space, reframe the idea of self-defense. You're being acted upon by an aggressor, but it's kind of a decision you make to fight back in a lot of ways to say, I am a human and I occupy this space and I will not be fucked with. A couple things that Veritas exposed, a couple snippets he exposed was the Antifa instructor, the fighter, was like, these are things he said. If you get a good liver or kidney shot, or possibly the floating rib, which would be the small rib that hangs out, one good body shot, it will leave them doubled over for you to run or for you to make it personal and put a beating on them. They'd be jumping on your ass anyways. So it's not like it's going to be one-on-one, but definitely makes sense. And then he also said, yeah, if all that shit doesn't work, then you can fuck with their nose and their eyes. Poke the eyes. Yeah, definitely absolutely poke the fucking eyes. You wonder why A.G. Barr said these motherfuckers are extremist agitators who are hijacking the protest to pursue their own separate and violent agenda. Because they fucking are. It's fucking insane. Like when Veritas comes after your ass, man, you know. They're coming for your ass. But even, like, I'm going back to what Tim Pool said, man. You got to watch some of the videos that Tim Pool does. He makes really good fucking solid points about these guys. He even said they're playing a game called, playing Death by 1,000 Cuts. So they're doing little crimes here and there that get you fucking get people arrested, such as getting the protesters arrested by the hundreds. Because now they can radicalize them. Not all of them, but there's a good chunk that they're going to be able to go like, yeah, the police arrested you because you were peacefully protesting. Aren't you mad? Fuck the police. Fuck capitalism. Because when you get arrested, you're going to pay some kind of a bill. That shit's not free. Everybody that's ever got arrested knows that shit. Even when you get arrested as a juvenile, your parents end up paying a bill because your ass got arrested. So, like in what Tim Pool said, a small acts of terrorism, and basically to get people afraid as well. So it just shakes up, burn out down the community, shakes up the community. A good example is go back to the Trump rallies. When you guys show up at Trump rallies and you beat the shit out of Trump supporters, and when Antifa shows up and beats the shit out of Trump supporters, some Trump supporters won't want to go to the rallies because if Antifa shows up, they know they could possibly get attacked, or have their hat stolen, or have a sign stolen, or get cornered. All kinds of shit. Because Antifa's known to do that shit. That's not new. There's plenty of videos. Watch that shit. And then another good example he used. An Antifa member brings a baton. Probably not even to use it. Maybe not to use it. But that baton that he doesn't want to hit nobody with, people see it, and he's holding it. People might not want to fuck with them, so they're probably going to bend the knee a little bit easier so they don't get hit by said baton. Same thing when someone has a gun. Nobody wants to get shot, so they listen to somebody who has a gun. Same concept, just on a way smaller scale. Then he also said that they target low-level events, and they do their best to make so people don't unify. And there's a lot of not unifying going around down in Minneapolis, you could tell. Certain groups were broke so far from one of the groups. You were running. Where's the leader? Who's running this game? Why are you guys like? Who's telling y'all to chuck rocks? Not saying that it was always Antifa, but I know that they were there, and I know they had their fucking mitts in it. They got a website or a Twitter page called The Base, and that's they also think a store or some shit, but they definitely, that's a group on Twitter. They also have like the Rose City Antifa. Tim Pool was also saying, like, a lot of this is from Tim Pool. Styx Hexhammer goes after him. Steven Crowder goes after him. You can look at all of them, but he had said that Antifa uses Black Lives Matter protests as a cover to push their own agenda, and that I clearly seen that. Like, that's what I seen. I seen a bunch of people protesting for justice and peace, and then I seen Antifa over fucking down the street chucking bottles and shit and spray paint and shit, and then I